Conference recording started.
Okay, hello. Welcome to the Life Breath Club's weekly meeting for June 9th, 2014. Sit back, take a nice slow exhale. Wait for that nice cleansing deep breath. Just slow down a little bit. Welcome to that 1 hour space to focus on breathing. That's what you want to be returning to all day, every day, is that awareness of what's going on there. Yeah, it's not up to you to do anything, just to notice. It's an action and yet an inaction. Just notice. And it tells you so much. Right? So just watch it. Watch your breathing, and be blessed by the slow exhale. So this is Carrie Tucker, the Life Breath Coach. This weekly space is a wonderful devotion to my health, and I hope that you all see it that way. If you haven't downloaded your copy of Increase Your Oxygen, please go to heartfailuresolutions.com and do so. You should be able to log in and be directed directly to the page where it tells you how to download that. If not, give us a shout out. You can get onto the mailing list if you've slipped off by going to heartfailuresolutions.com/moving. All lowercase moving, and you should hook up with us there. Just reply to any message, or the lifebreathcoach@gmail.com will get an email to us, and we will make sure to get that into your hands and review that simple information so that you can remember to self-nurture. We're going to be talking about how it's hard to breathe in the heat here a minute. I made myself some notes to help my poor limping brain keep on track here today. I've had some health challenges myself, really coming into a much better place in terms of clarity and strength and mood and all that good stuff, and much more healthy for myself, and really and just celebrating that stick-to-itiveness, that when I saw signs of trouble, my body trying to communicate with me, even though my healthcare team didn't see a reason to be concerned, that inner voice, knowing that I needed to keep searching and find my solution, to a problem that I was the only one acknowledging. So I really encourage you, stick to it, stay the path, stay your health journey is not always easy, but it's so definitely worth the focus, the increased energy, increased joy in your life. Yeah, it takes that increased strength in order to really be able to access and appreciate the joy in your life. So today's topic, heat. Why is it hard to breathe in the heat was the question of the day. So I pulled up an image for our live stream in our members area that says, "Respect the red road, no hurry." It's a it's a picture I took down on a beach road here on this island, and I love it because it really speaks to the stress of heat. Just when you really begin to feel the effects of heat, the red road tells you to slow down, no hurry, right? It's really important to conserve your resources. Right? So why is it hard to breathe in the heat? Well, for one, because dealing with temperature maintenance eats up that energy store. Whatever's available to you is being quickly consumed in order to maintain a livable temperature underneath your skin, right? When you're in direct sunlight, perhaps you're trying to do some orchid shopping, or I believe Pat was doing some kind of special shopping. When he brought up the question last week after the call, he messaged me and asked me to please address heat and how do other people living with lung disease breathe when they're trying to do the things they want to do in the heat. he was really having a tough time breathing as he went about his business of the day. That involved being in the direct sunlight and getting his business done until it was done. And he wondered, well, holy cow, do other people have to struggle through this like I am? And I thought, what a great question. And another Life Breath Club member and a Life Breath Club advisor brought up heat in conversation this week as well. Life Breath Club advisor Chad Kubo shared a story about moving someone with a physical disability in the 104-degree heat. He was tired to begin with, wanted to come up with a good excuse, but but volunteered and wanted to follow through and managed to accomplish an amazing task of getting everything moved in one trip and really conserve energy and make the most of travel, in a loaded truck, without a second trip, in order to function in that kind of heat, right? So Chad teaches swimming lessons. He has a history of martial arts. He's been active all his life. He's not facing serious health challenges, though cholesterol, blood sugar conversation with the doctor kind of a thing, but not concerned about health crisis, certainly in any way, shape, or form. But still, 104-degree heat is significant. And really even just being out in direct sunlight where the heat is elevated for an extended period of time, it's just something to plan for, something to be aware of, that it's going to stress you, right? As well, there's much increased humidity with the increased temperature, which contributes to it being more difficult to breathe, right? So water content in the air that you're breathing increasing is going to increase your work of breathing, right? Eating up yet more energy, as well as just causing tension due to the stress of not being able to breathe with ease, right? That air hunger that we talk about, right? Some background noise, I think, for this portion of the call. No worries, please, everybody. Never worry about noise. And
conference muted.
I'll just mute the phone line just because there was quite a bit of background noise. We'll unmute it as we get through some of the why is it hard to breathe in the heat information. Welcome to the call, new people, and we try to keep the lines open so that we can have questions and exchange aha moments and celebrations. So I'll definitely get those lines unmuted again soon. If you can self-mute, please do. Then when we unmute the lines, there will be no noise. Awesome. So another big issue as we plan to be in a heated moment, in a heated day. Really plan for that ahead of time. We can hydrate ahead of time as well as maintain hydration throughout the day. Right? Sipping water all day. If you have kidney issues already and you're on a fluid restriction, I'm not a very popular gal when, the Life Breath coach wants to get evicted when I remind people on a fluid restriction that it behooves you to drink water with lemon juice alone, right? With fresh lemon juice alone. If you're gonna drink, and you're gonna use up your daily allowance of fluid, right? You want to hydrate as best you can. Whatever else you're drinking that's not water, it has a solubility factor, and taking it on in a usable form is altered. So fresh lemon juice can help you hydrate, help you take on water a little bit more easily. I like to talk about how fresh juice extracted from fruits and vegetables, plants, has an amazing, wonderful formation, cellular formation that's much easier actually to hydrate yourself with if it's taken immediately upon extraction from the plant. So if you have the ability to choose. So often we get folks that it's just too hard to value juice extracted from fruits and vegetables, for example. Smoothies, yeah, that maybe that word's just too cozy. But really, what it comes down to is having a hard time valuing the power of food to nurture us, to food as medicine, right? I mean, do you really believe that? Do you really believe that your nutrition is your medicine, right? Hydration is so very important, and if we can just attend to this basic need for readily available fluid, then we can prevent fluid retention, right? Because so often when we're retaining fluid as well, got some pitting edema around your ankles. Are you dealing with some moistness in your breathing and your airways? Are you noticing some fluid on board that's not useful, right? In your bodily awareness, when you take a look at what's going on inside your body, are you noticing that? And are your fingers swollen? Are your feet swollen? Is your belly tight? Does water just not easy for you to sip, to drink at all? Right. What you want to do is really look at how you utilize water. This is the balance that we're trying to support. Right. So taking on less toxicity. So anything you drink other than water with fresh lemon in it, really take a look at what that is. Is it a healthy herbal tea that's arguably contributing? Especially if you don't have a fluid restriction, then it's great. You can really begin to experiment and take a look at what can you use and not worry about it. If you have, if you're on Coumadin, right, you can't use green foods. You can't drink smoothies. You can't utilize supplements, nutritional supplementation even, if it's green, because it interacts with the drug. Right? So as we navigate possibility, then we can become more open to just observing what's going on when we put these things into play, when we put them to use. So often we see quickly that fluid comes off if we utilize green foods. If you don't put them in a smoothie, arguably, you can do that without taking on as much fluid. Once you really have kidney disease going on, then it becomes more challenging, right? You have to become more aware. You have to involve your healthcare team more actively. And if you don't like what your healthcare team is contributing, then look for new members, right? Don't be afraid to add members to your healthcare team. Right? Because really, my passion, the Life Breath Coach is driven by this passion to spread more information that really puts the power in people's hands to address heart failure where we see it before we recognize what it is. Right? Doctors don't recognize what it is. The CDC says it's undiagnosed for ages. We call it asthma. We call it recurring pneumonia, just that pneumonia that keeps coming back, right? We're not addressing heart failure so often until our patient is in the intensive care unit fighting for their life. That's not the time we want to put the label on. I think that we're afraid in Western medicine to put that label on people because it feels like a death sentence. I've said this before, and I know I ruffle feathers sometimes, but I really see that drugging heart failure is arguably not the best course of action, because we take a look at what is the physician's that big thick book that talks about what drug side effects, because your doctor's insert, the drug insert you get tells you about side effects and what they know about this drug, but what the doctor gets talks a little bit more, a little bit more scary language about what they know about that drug. And so as we really navigate what we're using, why we're using it, and what we can hope to accomplish, there's kind of a defeatism around heart failure. Like, you're going to die, so how can we make it a little better for you? And we don't really want to adopt that outlook. We want to really take a look at, okay, how are we addressing heart disease, and is what we're doing really prevention? You hear me bringing up statin medication? I bet if you're been around heartfailuresolutions.com blog much, you know I'm about to bring up statins, right? Because statins is depleting our CoQ10 reserve. You know what, we need that stuff. So if we're supplementing, at least we're trying to help the damage caused by statins. And is statins really heart disease prevention? Right? It inhibits muscle recovery, but we know we need to be active. Statins elevate blood sugar. Well, we know we don't want diabetes. We know that blood sugar elevation contributes to feeding the bad bugs in our gut, to escalating inflammation, and to contributing to heart failure, right? So come on now. Are statins really a useful tool in facing this epidemic of heart disease that's ravaging our planet? We don't have to die of heart disease, right? So when we talk about why is it hard to breathe in the heat, we really come back around to the stresses that are on our heart, right? Heat, it's hot outside. That's one stress, right? But there's lots of sugar in our diet. That's another stress. Yeah? We're not eating foods that are from the earth, right? Or we're buying into the genetic modification. You know, we don't talk about a lot of fear factor here on the weekly meeting. We want to get into joy. We want to recognize that, loving each other, supporting each other, getting the support we need in our lives, and the love we need in our lives, yeah, and serving our communities in our lives is the juice that really scientists in the 60s found prevented heart disease. Yeah, Rosetta, Pennsylvania didn't die of heart disease. Couldn't find any other explanation except that they just loved each other so very much, day in and day out. Had almost as many social service organizations as they did people. Right? Just loved each other. No heart disease. Yeah, doctors weren't seeing it. Science couldn't believe it, so they came to study the town. And they tried and tried and tried to find another explanation. So here on our weekly call, we like to keep it simple. Come back to breathing. Yeah. Explore a straighter spine. As you age, that feels impossible, right? Your head's hanging off your spine. It's pulled down by gravity there in front of you. You know, some old folks, some of my clients, they were had their head on their belly. That spinal curvature was so bad. But you know, I want you to just relax into what is. Watch your breathing. Just get to know yourself. And then from there, open yourself to the possibility of being a little taller, a little straighter. Right? When you're in the midst of heat, you probably want to curl up and go into the fetal position. You just, it's hot, right? Well, that's what I'm talking about. You know, relax, maybe find a shady spot. Get tall. Relax. Exhale more fully. Yeah, let your diaphragm climb up your spine. Wait for that deeper parasympathetic stimulus to breathe, right? And allow that deeper breathing that you can't consciously cause. Right? You have to be patient. You have to allow that deeper parasympathetic breathing to kick in. Wait for it. It'll come. You won't pass out, I promise. Chris Downs, our Life Breath Club VIP, who survived serious heart disease without the heart transplant that his doctors insisted he needed. He had trouble with that. He had trouble slowing down his exhale, especially in the heat, God forbid, right? Just, you know, going to the bathroom, you know, he had trouble slowing down his x-ray and air conditioning, you know. But the head bob that is in the Sacred Breathing Handbook, that's the master's level curriculum, just takes a $77 payment right about now. We're going to institute that membership area as soon as we get the bugs worked out, but right now it's just a $77 one-time charge. We'll go to the monthly fee system when the pieces work. But until then, $77 gets you into the ground level foundational members Life Breath Club area where we just hug each other, pull each other close, and this is a long haul that we're in this together to spread the news that you don't have to die of heart disease. But it starts by planning for success, right? Eat more whole, fresh foods from the earth. That'll help to support you when it's hard to breathe in the heat, right? There's a couple of other things to take a look at that. What's going to help us to navigate the heat? And remember that sleep is the only time you generate energy, right? That nervous, we're electrical beings. Yeah, the fuel that gets our ship down the road is electricity, and we only create that stuff when we're in REM sleep. So if we don't get enough, it's not where there's a will, there's a way. There's not enough electrical energy to, keep our forward motion. Then there's not, right? It's not a matter of a positive thinking if your gas tank is empty, right? Same thing. So when we're planning for success and we're looking towards an activity with family in the heat of the day, say, right, then are we making sure to get our sleep debt caught up if possible? Right, and if you really struggle with this, go get a sleep study. See if you're really harming yourself during your sleep. Are you really living with sleep apnea that should be addressed? And if you are you addressing it correctly? Right, this is big stuff. Life Breath Club member Anita really got some improvement in her health from addressing her sleep apnea needs. But it all started with Anita's commitment with a sad voice to use oxygen, supplemental oxygen, just a little hose in the nose, every day for a week, and see how she felt at the end of that week. It felt like giving up to her in the past, but she was going to put it to the test and see if using it every time she was active during the week actually ended up creating a sense of better well-being by the end of 7 days. And she went into it with a sad heart. We heard it in her voice, but came back the next week saying, you know what? Yeah, I see that. I see that. It's hugely helpful. It's hugely beneficial. And by the end of the month, Anita had lost 20 pounds of weight. That had been, weight loss had been stubborn for Anita. And what she really recognized is, like the Life Breath coach loves to preach, make sure to attend to your blood oxygen levels. And fluid weight will fall off, right? That fluid restriction, that fluid that's retained within our bodies in an unhealthy way will be released when we're careful to nurture ourselves in this way. And this is what Anita experienced. She said, yep, that's what I experienced, right? And quickly, 20 pounds fell off. And when she looked at a not that old photo of herself, suddenly she saw the difference in the mirror, from the photo to the mirror, that the fluid in her face that she hadn't seen before she lost it. Right? So we really begin to understand how crucial oxygen is, right? So when you're stressed by heat or not, right? So Anita found that sitting down is when she's good to go and can take a break and give her skin, her nose, the bridge of her nose, her cheeks, her ears a rest from that cannula is when she's sitting, right? That's when there's not so much stress on her system. And she knows that hanging it over the arm of the chair, she shared just recently when she popped in, she's busy living her active lifestyle and nurturing herself. And it hasn't been at a Life Breath Club meeting, but she came in a few weeks ago and shared with us that she got back to not turning off the oxygen concentrator to save electricity when she sits, because she knows she can really feel that oxygenating a bit ahead of time before she stands up, instead of hurrying over to the machine and turning it on, knowing that just standing up really stresses her system. Anita's got kyphoscoliosis and really deals with a significant curvature in her spine. So her lungs are doing their best to do their job as it is. And she knows she needs to help, not hinder. And popping on and sharing with us that getting back to that little bit there, that was easy to ignore, but not that hard to re-implement into her plan. Put that little piece back in place again. That she said that was really helping. She could really feel the strength that she was, accumulating once again from attending to that oxygen need. So not just when you are dealing with the stress of heat and the increased work of breathing and the increased workload on your body to just maintain your healthy temperature. All right? So go through my notes and I'll get us unmuted. You know, what kind of questions might be coming up for you around all of the information I've been able to share with you so far today? You know, just the no hurry, right? So when Pat was shopping in the heat and having trouble breathing, just to slow down, just to look for a shady spot to rest for a bit, right? And to take a look at what's important there. Does he have the strength to exhale slowly? Does he have the strength to keep his mouth shut? And do you have the strength to keep your mouth shut when you're in the heat of the moment, when you're dealing with the stress of heat? Ask yourself these questions. Do you have the strength in that heated space, you know, to breathe and exhale slowly, to keep your mouth shut while you breathe? Yeah? Like you normally would if you weren't stressed by the heat, right? You know what your normal is, right? Ask yourself these questions. Do you have the strength to cruise? Are you cruising okay, or are you beginning to notice muscle fatigue, little weakness? Right? Ask yourselves these questions when you're in stress of any kind, but especially heat. Right? Keep sipping water, keep drinking water, keep making sure you're hydrated. Go into the event hydrated if you possibly can. Consider altering your plan. Right? Seriously, can you be flexible? Planning for success is taking into consideration that if what you notice, you know, when you take heed and address your needs, that it's a little too much. You know, know going in that you may need to alter the plan. Just be flexible. And, you know, take this into consideration, especially if you have a cane or, you know, something that helps you, or a loved one that you're going along with, right? Just take a hold of their elbow. You know, I know you might feel too proud to do that, but can you just walk arm in arm with someone that you love so that you've got more stability? And here's why. When you're walking along, especially in the heat, right? When you're walking along, they're just enjoying some activity. You know, maybe it's early in the morning or in the evening after the heat of the day is gone. Hooray, that's a much better plan, right? Planning for the least hot time of the day, right? And if you've got hold of something that can help to steady you, right? Then as you walk, you're slowing down, right? To the best, you know, to the best your awareness, you know, you need. You know, a nice pace is good, but slowing down is best when you see that's what you need. But try bouncing. Try feeling some G-force in your step, right? Just the pull of gravity. Yeah. So you don't have to jump, you know, just bounce within your gait, yeah, as you walk along the path. You know, can you hold on to a railing and try a little? Bouncing onto your toes? Can you leave the ground just a little bit? If you can't, don't. Right? You know better than anyone. That's why our Heart Failure Solutions Life Breath Club advisor, Dr. Majid Ali, is always reminding us that we are our primary care physicians. We are in charge. Everyone else is our consultant, right? And we can know what's best for us just by breathing into now. Right? Breathe into this present moment. Dr. Majid Ali reminds us that breathing into this present moment, yeah, allowing that exhale, he encourages us that in times of crisis or fatigue or trauma, that we exhale, hold, be gentle with our breathing, right? Then wait for that inhale and allow your diaphragm to drop. Your belly has to get out of the way, right? Yeah, and then massage that fussy heart. We can prevent stroke, heart attack, literally by shifting our biochemistry, allowing more availability of oxygen. That is a clotter and a declotter and an antibacterial and a hormone. Oxygen, amazing, amazing molecule that functions in our bodies in a miraculous way. I'm going to unmute the lines here, I think, taking a look at my notes, see if there's anything else I had wanted to encourage. Most importantly, to just breathe into now. You know, when you make it a habit, when you're not stressed by heat or otherwise, you are more able to breathe into now when you are stressed in any way, shape, or form. Staying hydrated actually keeps you calmer, keeps you less tense, better able to breathe, more elastic, more stretchy, right? More able to stay focused and aware, right? Perhaps you want to consider using inhaled medications or herbs previous to activity or an inactivity in the heat, allowing for, in the plan, to consider heat tiring, stressful, challenging exercise, even if you're going to be sitting on your butt, right, in the heat, right? It really works your body to sit in the heat, right? Being flexible to change the plan. Try a towel, a wet towel around your neck. I used to do this. Here locally, the volcano spits out so much acid in the humidity that air conditioning units don't like to work very long. Yeah, you're always taking them into the air conditioning service repairman because the sulfur dioxide gets in there and messes with the electrical, I guess, and electrical things don't like to work for long periods of time here on the Big Island. And it was one of those times I had scheduled patients and had to get to see patients, and my air conditioner wasn't cooperating. So I just learned how valuable that is, to take a wet towel and put it around your neck. And it helps to have a cooler and to switch it out so that when it warms up, you've got a cold one, right? Wow, does that help? You think, how in the world can that really prevent, overheating, heat exhaustion, get you through a day in too high a temperature? You'd be amazed. You'd be amazed at what it can accomplish. Staying active safely on a regular basis, right? Equivalent to breathing into now on a regular basis. Develop daily practice that creates good habits, right? So stay active safely on a regular basis. Have fun with it because you're more likely to continue doing it. Yeah, Chad Kubo asks folks to meet him at the park to dance every Sunday. How can you make it more fun than that? Right? But invite your neighbors, invite your loved ones to just go for a walk, whatever it takes. Yeah, is there a park nearby? Nature is a wonderful nurturer. Find the ways to build yourself, take care of yourself, help yourself relax, right? All of this good stuff helps you breathe better. Awesome. And like Chad said, after he came home from moving our physically disabled person in the 104-degree temperatures in one miraculous load. He had made arrangements to help fellow Lindy Hopper, a swing dancer, who was struggling to prepare a class for children. And he was hot and sweaty and tired and really didn't feel like going to help, but got himself up and out the door and was glad he did it. It was really recharged from doing it, hot, sweaty, and all. No time to shower, I gather. He was going to go sweat anyway, right? Get over there and do some Lindy hopping, some swing dancing. So, just his shearing around, giving until he was sweaty, really helped to recharge his battery. And it's amazing how that works, huh? So give till you sweat. And in the process, give yourself the blessing of a recharging, right? So plan for success. Unmuting the line to share successes, answer questions, check the membership area if you want to leave your comments there.
Conference unmuted.
All righty, and some background noise is good. Go ahead, Jesse.
Hi, I just wanted to add a couple things about hydration. Eating well hydrated means that you have it increases your blood volume, and when your blood volume increases, you can carry more oxygen in your body wherever it needs to go. And so I think if a lot of people kind of understood that part, they would understand why hydration is important, because I get a lot of people who just go, oh, so what, what's the big deal? And really that's part of the big deal.
Yes.
And then when you have more blood volume, you also, in general, not always, but in general, you produce more hemoglobin. You have more circulating hemoglobin,
right,
which helps with oxygen. And then, of course, when you have that movement more fluid movement because you have more fluid, then that carries more heat out of your body so that you stay cooler. So I think if people kind of got those two added basics on there, they might have a little bit more of a working picture of why hydration is really important.
I love that. Jessie has a way of really sharing with us in really simple terms that are really, I think any layperson could really easily understand what Jessie just shared with us. That the increased fluid availability, that your body's got more to work with, that you've got more functional hemoglobin, which is what carries your oxygen, and that amazing, miraculous molecule is getting delivered to the cells and organs and organ systems, and really creating some power there in just staying hydrated. What I saw, Jessie, when I visited homes here for 10 years was that fluid retention would kind of creep up on folks, and they didn't quite know what to do about that. And their doctors never seemed to be worried about it, so they never got worried about it. But then they really began to take on this philosophy of minimizing their fluid intake. So they would try not to drink water, thinking that would help fluid retention. And that's something I've really had a heart to really create a home study course around, is how do you go about addressing fluid retention? And just keeping in mind that you need readily available fluid for so many bodily processes. So this retained fluid, like the kind that collects around your ankles, that in your belly or in your fingers, that's not readily available. And so your body has a rough time if fluid isn't available. Actually, not enough fluid availability is a reason for your body to hang on to it and be more stingy, right? It thinks there's a crisis, right? As well as calories, protein, vitamins, minerals can cause this retaining of fluid in a way that's not nourishing your body, but actually in the way, right? It's muting our nutrition, it's diluting it, right? And it's a barrier for taking on that wonderful, awesome molecule of oxygen and helping to keep a healthy balance of our carbon dioxide gets a little muddled too because of that fluid where it's not supposed to be, right? And so when we really embrace what Jessie just said, that this wonderful nurturing gift of just staying hydrated each day, start each day drinking 4 ounces of water, and don't drink any more for 15 minutes. And just keep repeating that as long as you're dealing with thirst, right? Just do exercise. It's a simple little thing to do every morning, but you'll begin to go, hey, wait a minute, how come I'm so darn thirsty? And you really begin to become aware of your body's need to address fluid balance, right? When you give your body what it needs, it begins to create a new comfort zone, right? Sometimes people tell me that it makes them feel sick to their stomach when they drink water, right? And really keep in mind that when you are hydrating, by drinking water, that's why it's easier to do when you really reach a health crisis point. Your gut shuts down. Yeah, we talk about that a little bit in the free ebook on the blog. The Increase Your Oxygen ebook talks a little bit about that. Distracted? Sorry about that, guys. Shoot, I forgot. Well, I totally lost my train of thought there. But breathe into the moment here.
Drink some water.
Water. Drink some water. Actually, I just have some on my desk, and I am drinking some. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris. But yes, indeed, I won't get into a ramble. Let's welcome Chris on. Thank you so much for that, Jessie. Jessie is one of our Heart Failure Solutions Life Breath Club advisors as well. She always brings awesome stuff to the table. She's a massage expert, but she really understands that deep down nurturing. Yeah, that how our nervous system needs to be nurtured, how magical nutrition really is, that our food is our medicine, nutrition is powerful. She just gave us a testimony. Fluid is powerful medicine. as well. So thank you so much for that, Jesse. And any more you have to contribute as well, Jesse, hop on in there. Chris, did you have a question or a celebration or just a hello for us?
Just a hello and a celebration that I continue to breathe and do the Chihuahua head bob and remain healthy at even at about 10,000 feet. So when we go other places, 10,000 feet is no problem. My oxygen level stays 96, 97%. Often doing the exercises, eat properly.
Right, and that's the Chris whose doctor said he needed a heart transplant in order to survive, and is still working with the same heart he had from birth. He was born with. So awesome that your heart's been able to stick with you. We are so loving your celebration as you climb mountains to garden. Really loving that, and really embracing that that real awareness, you know, that your nutritional needs are just ever present in just the foods that we're choosing and choosing to not to eat as well, right? The foods that we choose to put on our plate, as well as the foods we choose to keep off of our plate. And you know, a real awesome message from Chris, you know, a newfound Life Breath Club advisor, survivor turned advisor in Life Breath Club, as far as Chris Downs telling us to use nutritional supplementation in a way that's been really powerful for him and his lovely wife Heather. And I'm really loving seeing what that's doing in my life as well. So next week, you know, let's take a look at food as medicine. I'll pick that as our topic as we look forward to next week. So looking forward into this week, planning for success. I'm sure, Chris, that you take that into account, the heat of the day when you're going to be out there working, you know, bending over and digging in the dirt, that you're careful to take that into account, right? That the heat of the day is going to be much more difficult than other times you could plan on that activity, right?
Absolutely. And for here, it's the cold, too.
Right.
It was 27 degrees here this morning.
Right. You know, I mean, we came into it talking about the stress of heat, but there's certainly, yes, the flip side of that, the stress of cold. You know, I love the Sacred Breathing Handbook, the master's level curriculum gets a little bit into that, about how heat is really actually very nurturing, like a fever is nurturing. You don't want to medicate your fever, you know, you don't want to take aspirin, Tylenol, etc. to bring down a low-grade fever. It's doing its job, right? This is increased bodily activity to take care of whatever the issue at hand is. And so we don't want to hurt ourselves by drugging away our healthy fever, right? So heat is a good thing, right? And also that cold shower technique that's in the Sacred Breathing Handbook. Really talk about that, creating that hard shell with a soft center that allows for movement in a soft belly. Yeah, the soft belly can get out of the way as our lungs expand, right? And things can stretch, and that elasticity factor has so much more movement and flow when we're soft instead of hard in our center, right? So it's very ancient, really, science really around utilizing temperature to facilitate healing, right? So I love to bring it up because it's a good time during the winter not to keep yourself so bundled up, right? And so often in the summer we spend the whole summer in air conditioning, where we're putting on sweaters in air conditioning when the when the temperature is hot outside. So really taking a look at how we embrace the therapeutic effects of the temperature extremes, heat and cold, right? And not coddle ourselves into constant lukewarm, right? But we really allow that it's all good, right? But we plan for success and don't stress ourselves too much, right? Awesome, good stuff today. Love it. Any more hellos or celebrations or questions? I'll check the members area. It takes a Google Plus account to comment over there. Sorry, our spammers were killing us with our WordPress comments. So you couldn't just come on in and place your comment like you used to. Now it takes a Google Plus account, but always welcome. Anybody want to speak up and tell us what's your name and who you're calling from? That'd be awesome too. We'll put you in our panel here. Ah, awesome.
This is just.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Jesse, go ahead. I was noticing a comment on the members area, so I will bring that into the conversation. But you go ahead with your comment here live on the phone, Jesse.
Okay. Just another hydration comment that kind of ties in about a lot of what you talk about with heart issues and all that. And is that your heart works on electrical impulses, and water or hydration carries electrical impulses. Yeah. So if you are dehydrated, if you are not hydrated well enough, your body's electrical impulses are impaired. And so conversely, if you are hydrated or well hydrated, your electrical impulses are carried along very efficiently, and so your heart functions much better.
Right. You know, so that slow exhale and attending to our breathing that saves our life is not so urgent or so difficult to achieve if you're well hydrated. In fact, you may even avoid that health crisis that requires you to breathe into now and call 911 hoping for the best, right? That Dr. Ali really encourages us that we can really save our own life by causing this slow exhale biochemical shift, right? And what Jesse is really, pointing to here is that that's how powerful hydration is as well. I mean, we really need to honor this magical combination of H2O. Water is such a wonderful substance that we can't live without. And when we really give it its place in our lives, we're prepared for stress, right? We function well because we have what we need to function. Thanks so much. You always contribute such awesome stuff, Jesse. Woohoo! Love the Life Breath Club community. And in the members area, William McKeon is sharing. Oh, Pat, that's right. Pat, I thought that last name sounds familiar. That's right. This is Pat with the question of the day. 6 hours per sleep a night with a 20-minute nap is good for you. Pat, we've talked about a couple of issues that I could understand that interfere with your peaceful, wonderful, awesome sleep. And why don't you reply to any message and schedule some time with me, and we'll spend 20 minutes just talking about some ideas around enhancing sleep and sleep quality. I love that you're bringing up nap. Woohoo, nap. Naps are medicine. Naps are therapy, right? And they can really help. Sometimes people think like, the more I sleep, the more tired I get. But I think that's a point. Just like when we drink water, we get more thirsty because we really become aware of the need for fluids, and we're beginning to feel out our fluid balance, right? And so our bodies really become more aware of this need for water. Same sleep. That when we really begin to catch up, when we really begin to have more energy to attend to our business, right? To the cleanup and the nurturing and the delivering and the delivering of nourishment, as well as the delivery of waste out the body, right? All that good stuff. We've got what we need, right? And when insomnia is a strange and wonderful thing, and that sometimes so much of insomnia is the frustration of it, that if you can just allow that wakefulness at night isn't a bad thing, that if you can allow perhaps a split sleep where there's some wakefulness in the middle of the night, and what if you allow just some wakefulness by the midnight oil, and just be present. Perhaps you sit straight and watch your breathing a little while. Perhaps you step out into the night air if that feels like a good idea. Perhaps you just listen to some music, sip a little water, take a trip to the bathroom. Yeah. Just be with yourself in the quiet hours of the evening, and then go back to bed. Perhaps the split sleep will total more sleep. Right? Don't fight it. Right? And so often I love that sleep studies sometimes can prove to you that even though you think you got an hour of sleep, you got a lot more than that. You're like, really? No way. I woke up all night long, you know. And when your body knows this stuff. I mean, you sink into a deeper sleep quicker. They've studied night shift workers when they allowed them to take a 60-minute nap during their middle of the night shift. And they found that they quicker and quicker got to this deeper level of sleep. Their body said, oh, cool, we get to, you know, really rejuvenate for a minute here. Let's get there quick. And it really altered this normal progression into this restorative sleep. So trust yourself. Trust your sleep. Right? But napping is awesome stuff. And if napping makes you feel like you want another nap, then allow this. Although make sure you're giving attention, focused awareness to movement. Yeah, forward movement, out the door and down the road, or putting oxygen on, increasing the leader flow, and walking up and down the hallway. Right? Get more out, you know, more activity. Just increase the heat, increase that heart pumping, right? Just that, because that will help to counteract this danger where you sleep too much, that we really contribute to this clinical depressive state by sleeping too much. Yeah, that our pattern that begins to, our sleep habit that begins to be created around this excessive sleep pattern isn't healthy either, right? And the way to really counteract that is just activity, just simple activity. And don't hurt yourself, but just allow more activity as you gain strength, right? Having faith that you will gain strength with activity because you're meeting your needs, right? Sleep, rest, hydration, happiness, smiles, right? And Pat's saying, smell the flowers, blow out the candle, works every time, slow down. Yeah, yeah. So I'm glad Pat's got that part. That's why he's really living so well with lung disease, right? And really attending to his oxygen needs to nurture his heart so that his lung disease doesn't end up causing heart disease, right? So we love to really bring that up and to encourage you folks that are utilizing supplemental oxygen. I know it's frustrating sometimes, and you feel like, you know, not sometimes. But like I say, look for those places where you can take a break, where you can take it off safely. You don't need the supplementation. Chris would probably like to utilize it perhaps with exercise, with maybe a sleepless night or a head cold, a little bit of runny nose, or, you know, when we have those little bit of flu symptoms or those occasions when we're feeling a little under the weather. You know, it's awesome and wonderful to have a source of supplemental oxygen. But Chris's insurance took it away. He's too healthy. So, you know, keep that in mind, that even when you're healthy, supplemental oxygen is a really wonderful, awesome thing. Yeah, you can utilize it if you can, perhaps, with your exercise. If you're doing water aerobics, that could be a little difficult. If you're doing stationary equipment at home, that could be very doable. So looking at utilizing it with your intentional exercise. If you really need it, you should be using it when you get up to the bathroom, when you make yourself food, when you go to the doctor, yeah, even when it's not convenient. It has to be portable. All of that, right? And just to really pay attention to that. That's your foundational place to begin to navigate wonderful, nurturing daily practice that really begins to get you somewhere, get you feeling better, get you having more joy every day, right? Awesome, good stuff. Any more celebration? I'm checking the members area. The line's unmuted. We've got 7 minutes to go. Anybody want to speak up? And Chris, you want to share, was that you at the, which prefix is you, Chris, so I can add your name to the dashboard so I know when you're with us. It's what?
I'm on Skype.
You're on Skype. You're on Skype. Well, that's very strange. I think that you don't show up in my dashboard, or it's telling me that you have a number that you don't have. We have a few new people here, but always a joy to have you, whether you want to speak up and ask questions and share your celebrations, or whether you'd rather save that for just reply to any message from Heart Failure Solutions. If you'd like some one-on-one time with the Life Breath Coach in a private conversation on the phone, then all we ask is that you step up and make that one-time $77 payment and become a Life Breath Masters member and get that time scheduled with me. Pretty darn generous. It's one real strategy session that's offered, but just trust that you won't be left hanging. If you need several sessions, because every time you improve, as Anita found out quick when she lost weight quickly, her blood pressure fell. And even though she had warned her doctor, they didn't make any alteration in her medication. And so quickly, Anita was over-medicated and ended up in the hospital to indeed find out that, yeah, we got to reduce this drug here and bring this dangerously low blood pressure back up again. So, as we improve our health, we really need to be diligent about staying aware, staying watchful, for symptoms that need to be attended to, right? We don't always want to drug them, but we always want to acknowledge and be aware of them. Each stage of the game. So we're looking for improvement, and sometimes an unknown priority shows up, right? Sometimes when we think we've got back pain, we don't know we've got a heart arrhythmia, that our heart's skipping a beat. Right? Or, we think we've got blood sugar trouble and we don't know we've got high blood pressure, or, whatever's going on. Sometimes, we have to find our way to the problem so that we can use the knowledge. We can use the problem as our compass, right? So it's either the problem working against us or for us. And once we become aware, go ahead, Chris.
I just wanted to share for joining for $77 and being able to get access to you is great, because you got to remember your cardiologist, they only work on the heart. They even consider what the drug that you are taking affects the rest of your body. That's how the AMA teaches them, and that's what my cardiologist told me. I told him these drugs were making me sick and making me bleed through my colon. They said, well, you'll have to talk to the gastroenterologist and have a colonoscopy to figure out what's going on, because they're not connected, because they're not holistic. And what you need to carry is to look at your body as a whole, which we are, a complete system.
Right. And to expect side effects, right? And to expect side effects. So it's very strange in Western medicine that we have trouble acknowledging side effects. We, like you said, your doctor said it was unrelated. Of course it was related, and when you choose drugs, it's not the wrong thing. Sometimes, you needed drugs. Digoxin saved your life. There are several drugs you were using that you probably wouldn't be here today without those drugs. But you really recognized when they stopped helping and started hurting. Right.
And that's where nutrition and plenty of fluid, don't forget the minerals and amino acids, that's part of your diet. And then again, get good counseling or good, someone good like Terry. That's the best deal that you can get, $77 to get such great access.
Right. It's great to be able to offer that right now, and to just, open our hearts and our arms to our entire community here, and to just really love each other while we wait for those technological pieces to really fall into place. We have volunteers working busily behind the scene, and that's always an awesome thing. So we're coming up on the top of our hour. We're 2 minutes to the top of our hour here. I'm going to go ahead and send you off into your week with love. Everywhere you go this week, just be good to yourselves and smile at everyone you meet, and let's create that healing environment for ourselves on each step of our path. See you next week, everybody. Aloha nui.
Conference recording stopped.
Thanks so much. See you next week. Go ahead and stop our broadcast. Thanks. Hope to see you next week.